If I had a rand for every WhatsApp or email I'd received telling me I must read the book Legacy, written about the All Blacks, I'd be a very rich man. And we've seen this weekend New Zealand, a country of 4 million people, winning the World Cup again and being spoken about as the dominant force, not only in world rugby, but a dominant team in the world in terms of how to perform. But it's frustrating because I'm South African and we're a country of 50 million people who love our rugby, who just don't seem to be getting it right on a consistent level. And I think we can. So I'm going to have a crack at 4 reasons and 4 ways that we can, in the future, become the dominant force in world rugby and beat the All Blacks over and over again. The first thing, and that would be to build a young core of leadership. Lambie, Malherbe, Khaleesi, Pollard, young leaders who challenge each other, who build a container to be brave, young, brave leaders. I'm not talking about people who have played 100,000 tests. I'm just talking about people who are measured on their leadership ability, who are able to take tough decisions, who are able to lead by example, but most importantly, who are able to lead not just through a hierarchy or how many tests they've played, but are able to lead through weight of character. That then builds a culture, a positive, inspiring culture, a culture that makes rugby players better than they would have been outside that culture because of being part of it. I believe South Africa for years have based themselves on a slightly fear-based thing, backs against the wall. We've been written off, and that's when we're at our best. I'm talking about creating something that is special, but that is positive, that is proactive rather than being reactive, but is fundamentally led by those young players. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not going to talk about political stuff, strategic stuff, even on-field tactical stuff, because I think there may be changes there that would help South Africa win more rugby matches anywhere. But I believe with a positive, less fear-driven culture, this team would be able to play more attractive, more free-flowing rugby anywhere. Because it is alarming to read the coach saying, you know, I cannot play that style of rugby because my players just don't possess those skills. A country like ours, that shouldn't be the case. So a positive, inspiring, non-fear-based culture led by a young group of leaders brings me to my third thing, which is I've been reading a book recently called Exponential Organizations, written by Salim Ismail, and he talks about the best businesses going forward are going to have this thing called a massively transformative purpose. So I would move away from measuring a coach on his win-loss ratios. That wouldn't be the only thing. It's can we build a massively transformative purpose? Something that is so inspiring, so huge, so beyond just winning and losing rugby games, that it breeds the culture that we're creating. Can't South African rugby be the world leaders in sports performance? A country from the third world being the world leaders in sports performance. That people are writing books about us, about the way we do things, and they are wanting to copy us. Not us wanting to copy the All Blacks or the English or some American football team. A massively transformative purpose. Moving away from the passionate coach who's all about winning and losing, who gets constricted, who gets grey hair purely because he has to win and lose. There's more to it. Of course he has to win, but there's more to it. And the fourth thing I would do, the last thing, is I would build KPIs for the players. I wouldn't rate and evaluate players purely on how did they play week by week, because the media and articles left, right and centre influence that too much. I would talk purely about how is this person growing over 6 months to a year. Is he measured on how well he does on the field as well as how much he contributes to that culture? Does the culture begin to spit people out who don't fit? And does it begin to include more people who in the past didn't fit but now do fit, because we've now got this inclusive culture that people are inspired by, not just within the team but externally. The cricket Proteas with their Protea 5 managed to do that to a degree. Can the South African rugby not do the same thing? So I would build key performance indicators based on how we behave as well as how we play on the rugby field. Young, brave leaders who build a small container and challenge each other to become exceptional leaders, not just exceptional rugby players. A positive, non-fear-based culture. A massively transformative purpose away from the past, the old, something that's new, uniquely South African, that everyone buys into. And fourth, key performance indicators for players, away from just how well they do on a rugby field on a week-by-week basis, how they're growing, how they're behaving. That, in my opinion, could build something special. And if we get those right, we will beat the All Blacks time and time again. Thanks very much. I look forward to your comments.